Oh my God, Layhang Gaming disappeared for like a month, and then he comes back with 2 videos back to back. This guy's a madman.
So free and saying in the ever-growing power level of new IDs and egos, I've had a burning question within my mind. Does the meta really matter? Well,
I don't think it does. You know, as long as you have like a full burn team, a full bleed team, a full rupture team, I mean, you kind of, well, at least with syncing, there's characters like Wild Hunt, Heathcliff, and Cod Radia, where you actually have to use their defensive skills to do their whole full kit. Other than characters like that, it just hit win rate. Build the bleed team and hit the win rate button.
well, I've come to a conclusion, and it's much more complicated than a...
Oh yeah, but with Rien Sang being so strong, the game might start turning into a meta slave game where you have to pull all the new strong units to fight the new extremely powerful bosses, but we'll see.
Simple yes or no. So without any further ado, I present you with my answer. The meta both affects and is intrinsically irrelevant to almost all styles of play.
How what? It affects and is irrelevant at the same time?
Well, there you go. There's my take on whether the meta matters.
All right, video over.
Be sure to like and subscribe. Yeah, you know there's more to it than that. Let's get started. In order to look at whether the meta is truly important, first we have to define
I feel like if anything, the meta is only important for Refraction Railway, because with Mirror Dungeon, you just pick the Rupture team and you pick all of the Rupture relics, and then you kind of just win.
what it means in the context of Limbus. If we
I don't even know how to play Refraction Railway. You have to have multiple teams, and like you go through. I don't even fucking know. I have no idea. I played it one time.
look at the
Twice. I played it twice.
most literal definition of meta, it refers to strategies used outside of a game in order to gain an advantage. In a game like Limbus, where the main choice a player can make is how they build their team, the meta specifically takes shape when players choose identities and egos that are most consistent at beating certain content, or when they optimize their team for performing a specific extrinsic task.
Both. This is bullshit. How was I supposed to know there's a visible choice?
A great example of this being Refraction Railway speedruns.
Oh no. 17 turns? What?
Put it simply, the meta of Olympus consists of strategies with a high floor or a high ceiling. But why is this distinction important? Truth be told, the answer to that very question differs from player to player, which brings us to our main subject of the video. Across all levels of play, almost everyone interacts with the meta to some degree.
I feel like with Limits Company seems like one of those games where people want to convince themselves that it's deeper than it actually is for the combat, but I don't really think that it is that deep. Like it really is just fucking, I mean, for fuck's sake, the combat is reliant on coin flips. Like there are people that have commented on my videos and they said that they win rated through Dongbeak until the end they beat her just by win rating. So it is possible. If it's possible to win rate on a boss like 100 times and one of those times you'll just randomly get a good outcome and win, I don't know how deep the combat could actually be and how important the meta could really be.
With each type of player doing so for vastly different reasons. For each type of player, I'm going to assign them a specific type of incentive, which represents what uniquely causes them to interact with the meta. To get us started off, let's look at the lowest level of play and then work our way up. Being a low-level player, you see, has little to do with skill level and almost everything to do with time invested in the game. Usually at this point in the game, players are looking for strategies that will help them clear content, while at the same time also not requiring heavy investment into team building to make that happen. For that reason, I believe the incentive for lower level players is the concept of a hard carry, that being any ID or ego which will help them clear content with less investment.
I think on every type of status team, there's one character that does most of the damage, but like Rien Sang is now the new hyper carry. I mean, that guy is fucking insane the amount of damage that he does.
My favorite modern example, of course, being Rien Yisong, who's capable of soloing a lot of content just on his own. In terms of how
all you have to do for him to solo is just select the funny blue skills and then select the funny red skill, and everything dies. There's no like, oh shit, on the third turn, I have to hit this button. I gotta make sure that this character is being targeted by this character, and I gotta make sure that I have enough stacks. And no. Funny blue and then funny red, and everything dies.
How strong of an effect meta IDs have on player choices, specifically at the lower level, out of 10 I'd give them about a 5, since there are a lot of people within this level that play Limbus for reasons other than its gameplay.
The main reason to play Limbus Company is the story, because the story is so fucking good, and it builds off of 2 of the other previous Project Moon games. So that's why people are so invested in the game. I doubt many people are playing this game solely for the combat. It's probably like 99% of people play the game for the story and 1% play it for the combat.
On the other hand, let's look at where I, and probably...
That being said, the combat is extremely addictive. Like, literally, even if you're just hitting win rate and sometimes blocking and sometimes redirecting attacks, the bring, that like coin sound effect is so fucking addicting, and the sound effects that your characters make when they hit the enemies, it's so addicting that it just makes up for how brainless the combat can be.
You see, once players are able to reasonably clear all content, people typically tend to gravitate towards IDs and playstyles which appeal to them the most. This is also why this level of play consists of a lot of experimentation, or people attempting to clear content in very unorthodox methods. People tend to enjoy powerful IDs and strategies over weaker IDs and strategies, and I do think there is a fun factor behind seeing very strong IDs in gameplay.
You're probably sick of hearing this, but every time a new game comes out and people say, hey, should I pull for this new character? You'll always see somebody that goes, just pull for waifu because waifu is more important than meta. And but it's like you pull for the characters that you like, and then you find out that the characters that you like are useless or they're getting power crept to the next update, and then you don't have the currency to pull for the new strong character, and now you can't complete the content, and now your account is bricked. So yeah, people enjoy picking the most powerful characters because they don't want to be left behind and they don't want to lose their investment in a game. If you pay a bunch of money to keep playing the game and get all the new characters and complete all the content, and then you somehow brick your account because you spent all of your pulls on one character that you really like instead of the character that you really needed to complete the content, well, now your entire account is wasted and all the money that you spent on it is wasted. So people see it as a sunk cost fallacy. If I don't pull for the best characters, then I will quit the game. And I don't want to quit the game, so I'm just going to keep pulling for only the meta characters so that I don't get left behind.
Trying to enforce how other people have fun definitely crosses a line. But
because if you only pull for waifu and your entire account is just full of useless characters that can't complete content, then you can't get more pulls, then you can't pull more waifus, and then you don't like the game. Now you can't complete the content, and you can't get the waifus. So now there's no point to fucking play the game.
It's just me complaining about a vast minority of players. In reality, what Project Moon does great is giving ID stuff for every type of player. Of course we do have strength, but we also have animation, unique team building restrictions, gimmicks that change how you play the game, and ties to the lore and stories.
I think the one cool thing that Limitless Company does is when there's an event and it's themed around like W Corp or T Corp or whatever, if you have W Corp or T Corp IDs, you get more currency in that event. And then you can use that currency to buy out everything in the shop and buy all the extra pulls and everything a lot faster than if you didn't have those IDs. So if you somehow lucked out and pulled the wrong ID, like let's say that you were pulling for like the new Don Quixote ID, but you, instead of getting the new Don Quixote ID, you got an old Don Quixote ID. Well, it just turns out that there's a new event where if you use that ID that you just pulled, you get more experience in that event, and then you can buy more of you can buy the shop out faster. So it's like there's an incentive to pull the characters because you want the new characters, but if you get an old character, you're not completely shit out of luck. There's probably some use for that old character, unless you're talking about Mariachi Sinclair. Unfortunately, a piece of tuna is the only person that can make that character work.
As you can see, the meta doesn't really affect this level of play as much as it does with others, which I think is an amazing thing. Brilliant design on Project Moon's part is funneling the majority of players into enjoying the game rather than forcing every player to play optimally. Out of 10, I'd give the incentive to play the meta.
It's kind of, you know what, I think Kim Ji-hoon got this from Arknights because he's a big Arknights fan. Arknights has so many characters that even if you don't have the most broken character, you'll probably have a different broken character and you'll still be able to complete the content. And what I don't like about Arknights is that they make it nearly impossible for you to get characters like Texas Alter or Chen Alter or fucking all these alters that only come out like once a year, like Ling. They only come out once a year, and shit like that annoys the shit out of me. But I do like the fact that Limbus and Arknights are two gacha games where there's so many options that even if you don't have the best meta option, you probably have access to a couple other options that will allow you to complete the content regardless.
0.5 in this level because everybody's just playing to have fun. That's not to say that playing optimally is a bad thing, however, and high-level players show us exactly why finding the absolute ceiling in this game can be really interesting. To start us off, I'm gonna ask you, why do high-level players play the game? The answer is very simple.
Elitism.
Their incentive is to find the meta itself. So yeah, case closed, they are a 10 out of 10 when it comes to how much they use the meta, right? Well, it's a lot more complicated than that when you look at the numbers. What's meta to a top level player is going to entirely depend on what it is they're trying to do. As an example, the teams used to clear Refraction Railway the fastest are going to be completely different to the teams used to speedrun mirror dungeons. At high level play, everything becomes min-maxed to a
I think what I've noticed too, I don't ever even touch Refraction Railway, and I barely touch Mirror Dungeon. If I actually played Mirror Dungeon the way that you're supposed to play Mirror Dungeon, I would probably have way more lunacy, and I probably would never have to spend money on the game. But I like the game enough that when I spend money on it, it doesn't feel like, oh god damn it, what am I doing spending my money? Oh my god. But I think you don't even have to touch Refraction Railway, honestly. And the only time you would have to be like a high level meta player in this game is for Refraction Railway. That's the only thing that I can think of that really needs that much. Maybe Bamboo Headed Kim hard mode, because I kicked his dick off in every other fight that I've ever had to fight him in, except for hard mode. Hard mode, he slapped me shitless.
Try to experiment with IDs that play completely differently than what you're used to, even if they aren't as strong. Of course, anything that's considered meta in some way is naturally going to be used more often, but by a vast majority of players that's simply just their preference. Not exactly something that should be actively enforced. So yeah, go out, have fun, put She-Faust on your mirror dungeon team, and
I forgot that this Faust was even in the game. I didn't pull for her. I don't see other people using her. I forgot that she even exists.
Just because an ID needs a little bit more support doesn't mean you have to slap the label potential onto it. And just because an ID might play differently than other ones doesn't mean you have to slap the label potential onto it.
Well, I feel like a lot of fucking games do this where they release a character and the character kind of sucks, but a lot of people like the character. So they release a new character that buffs that character, or at least makes that character like somewhat viable to use. And at least in Limbus Company, it's not that big of a problem. It's just kind of like a meme. But like when I started, like I left Honkai Star Rail for Wuthering Waves, and then when Wuthering Waves started pulling that shit where they're like, oh, hey, if you want to use Zani, you're going to have Phoebe or blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay, I see where this is going. And no thanks.
Just because an ID might be overshadowed by another ID doesn't mean you have to put the potential label onto them. It has genuinely gotten to the point where if I pull up my phone and it says potential spam, I'm going to have an aneurysm. Some IDs may not be meta, but let's just enjoy them for what they are and what they might bring to the table later. And if you genuinely don't like how these IDs play, then you just don't have to play them. But I hope this video has inspired at least one person to pick up an ID they usually wouldn't touch. Because at the end of the day, this is a team building game, and people should genuinely enjoy it.
I really would not call it a team building game. Like, if by team building you mean get the Blood Fiend, get all the Blood Fiend characters together and put them on a team, get all the high shoe characters and put them together on a team, then yeah, I guess you could call it team building. But I don't really think this is a game where you have to grab like a random T Corp character and put one T Corp character into the W Corp team, and then you have to get one specific Blood Fiend character and put that on the W Corp team. This is really what, like, literally the gameplay down here, it's literally just match. You're supposed to match the orange skills to gain the resonance, match the turquoise skills with the turquoise skills. This is a very like match the colors, flip the coin game. It's kind of hard to say it's a team building. It's kind of rough. It's kind of weird to call this a team building game when the whole game is just match the colors and flip the coins.
How their teams play. So unless you're starting out or actively min-maxing, put Potential Man or She-Faust onto your team now. I'm serious. Go do it right now. And if you had any fun playing with them, like this video and subscribe after you're done. Once we hit 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to overthrow the head. Yes, I'm 100% serious. And before I divulge any more details about my plan, I'm just gonna leave y'all here.
He literally just left us in the dark. Thank you, Lay Hang Gaming. Like and subscribe to Lay Hang Gaming. This guy, He's back. He took a month off. He's back and he's crushing it.
내 놈의 추한 시선이 가진 신선감.